Welcome in to another episode of Motor City Metrics. I'm here, Mike Papchek, with Yoop and Chris Brown. Rahelia will be joining us sometime later in the show. Ashley's got the night off. And if it sounds like I'm in a really good mood, it's really that and a little bit of incredulity here. The Tigers, as we speak, are, yes, into that last wild card spot. It's crazy to say it, and I don't care how you feel one way or the other about this season. The path that they've taken to get here has been maddening. It's been stress-inducing. I have probably ripped out some hair over this season, but here we are, a week after they get rid of Skubal, and they're in the wild card. So, oh my God, welcome in, guys. It's good to see Chris. Feel like, Chris, we haven't had you on in a little while, so pumped to see you, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's Thursday night. There's sometimes an issue, and with Raj, he's had softball, but it's kind of wild. Basically, when I think everybody had given up on the Tiger season, right? We had all kind of given up and said, okay, well, and even when they sold, we're like, yeah, that's just the right thing to do. But we also said, hey, they might still make the playoffs even though they sold. And hello, Doug Claus, nice to see you. But back when everybody was talking about how it's just impossible, the numbers aren't there. Well, they've done everything that you could have asked for, and to make it happen, the rest of the American League is garbage. Yeah. That's a huge part of this. Tampa has a bunch of wins, and the Yankees are decent record, and Boston went crazy for a little bit. They've fallen back now, but every other competitor, for the most part, it's imploded. The White Sox haven't seemed to go on any one of those big skids that the Tigers kind of need them to. Maybe this weekend will be the start of that. But yeah, the Tigers have been the hottest team in baseball for 2+ months now, so it's pretty wild.
When they were 22-38, I think people were saying, was it one team ever was 16 below 500 and made it to the playoffs? That was the one fact that didn't bother me that much, because the current playoff system is not that old. So if this was 1968 and you got 2 playoff spots, that's a big problem. Not that I thought they would rally and get into it, but impossible. And really, it's amazing what they've done with the starting pitching, the depth that they have managed to cobble together, and has really, I think today was shutout number 13. And they're moving in the right direction with the pitching, and it's kept them afloat through this whole thing.
Yeah, it's 6 shutouts in their last 14 games.
And that's, in the midst of having that crazy stretch where they had 4 straight series where they scored 10+ runs and won by 8+ runs or something ridiculous.
Yeah, they I think 4 straight series with a shutout of 8-0 or more.
Yeah,
it's and you brought up. I talked about this right before the broadcast. I said I've got a number for the inside the numbers, and I'm going to work it in real smooth but now I'm just going to tell everybody. So you brought up the 22-38, right? That was 60 games. The Tigers were 16 games under 500. So I looked at how many times that's happened in Tigers history, and 7 times is the number. Happened in 1920, 1952, 1953, 1996, 2002, 2003, and this year. None of those other teams won more than 61 games by the end of the year. The Tigers have 60 right now. They have gone, and to put it another way, they were 22-38. They've gone 38-23 since then. So just basically flip the script, and coming awfully close to getting to 500. If they win tomorrow, they could be 500. If they win the series, they'll be 500. So pretty spectacular, remarkable turnaround. I guess we just got to get used to this ridiculous stuff with the Tigers of the last 3 years. They're just going to be the worst team or the best team.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I just accept that it's going to be a roller coaster, I guess, and whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I suppose that's really in the eye of the beholder. I don't know. But I mean, it's just kind of the way that it's been getting done is now not super pumped. We did see Riley Greene go on he went on the injured list. He did finish, and we made a bunch of jokes about it. But Riley did end up gunning out scoring from first And then he came out of the game, and then he got diagnosed with the strain, which I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, that he was able to run with it, or that he did run on a strain that he maybe shouldn't have. But either way, what was that?
Did we hear if he hurt himself when he got hit as he was falling, hit by the pitch, or was it from running the bases?
I don't know if they said when it happened.
I'm assuming it's probably running, but
yeah, I would think so too. There was shades of. I think I brought this up a while ago that back in spring training before his first season, he got hit on the foot or fouled a pitch off his foot, then got a triple off Garrett Cole, then had to miss 2 months with a broken foot. So he's got a knack of letting that adrenaline pump through you, and then whoops. But yeah, obviously it would be nice to get him back, but the rookies, they don't have any fear, it seems.
Yeah, and so me and you were talking like right before the show went about Folk here 88 here. I like this 78 and 10:05. Riley Greene's career second half OPS plus and the number of career plate attempts he has in the second half. Riley Greene turns it up, and I love that because holy crap, we've just been getting a lot of weird Riley Greene hate the last couple weeks. So I gotta love to see that. And it's likely. I mean, but
I think it's the opposite of what you're thinking there. He was pointing out that Riley Greene is a bad second half performer in his career.
I guess I did because he said OPS plus. Yeah, you're right. My apologies. I read it as OPS. You're right. 78 OPS plus. That's bad. See, like I'm literally just my brain breaks at it. Like I don't understand the hate that this man gets.
No, it's ridiculous.
I'm not even going to address that right now because I want to talk about the damn rookies today. So, Tigers in a 3-0 shutout here as Rogelio Castillo joins the show. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Often imitated, but never can be duplicated. Chris knows that. Where does that come from?
But so we were just going to bring up the huge rookie input that we're seeing, and then we're going to have to kind of get used to seeing in the next couple of weeks. With Riley Greene on the injured list. We had, I think, it's 5 rookies in the lineup today. We had Kevin McGonigal, Valencia, Howie Lee, Max Clark, and Ben Malgieri, all rookies, all making a contribution today. I mean, I think every single one of them now. I mean, Howie Lee got pulled, but I mean, everybody really just contributed all around, and it's just, I don't know. I guess I didn't see a world where they didn't add and they had this many rookies playing really as much time as they're playing, and that they would be winning games and that the offense would be scoring runs,
It's very 7 for somebody like Uper, for example, or anybody else that watched Tigers in the late 70s, early 80s, that this is kind of like a same nucleus, except there's more of a emphasis on the younger guys because they really they definitely are relying more on the guys that they have eternally, and I've never seen this kind of depth before with that. So back then, for example, Sparky would lose his patience pretty easily with rookies. So but yeah, that's where I would go with that. Absolutely.
I was really impressed with Valencia. He got 5 home runs in his first 45 at bats. I think that's a team record. The guy has
841. Sorry, just reading it, just looking at the box score, 841. He's Barry Bonds. My God.
He has his swing just looks tailor-made to hit the power. It's just beautiful. It's like a golf swing of a guy who knocks it 320, if he's going to be the backup catcher, whatever they end up doing with him, that's a hell of a backup catcher. That's a big step up from Jake Rogers. Now he has to keep it up. And obviously we're talking 45 at bats. So long way to go, but it's a hell of a start.
Where do you guys stand on the idea of bringing Jake Rogers back now that he's been DFA'd again?
I really think that it makes so much sense. You just stash him in AAA if you really need him if something happens. Like, I mean, why not? It doesn't hurt anything, right? I mean, they've kind of been cycling a catcher in AAA anyway, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yes, they can. To be honest, I don't know how they can make it work, but I always love when they find a way to carry 3 catchers. I think that really gives you late inning flexibility.
Well, but that kind of goes against. The whole reason they cut him is because they were like, "When are we going to play this guy?" You know, like they were trying to get Dingler as many at bats as possible. I mean, he caught today, for instance. You know, so I don't know where you would get him actual playing time if he was on the roster. I see it as like more of a if something else happened. I mean, this is my opinion.
Yeah, I was just thinking, Dingler has seemed to look pretty tired, he's in a little rough stretch right now. So it's like, I wonder if they could get somebody to catch a little bit more. But yeah, I'm sure he'll pick it back up. It's probably just a little mini slump.
So we need to. Oh, go ahead.
It's interesting. Last week, the Ashley and Mike and myself, we heaped so much praise upon Dylan Dingler. Right? He was an unstoppable force when we were on the air last week. Since that time, it's been one measly week, but he has gone into this slump. I'm inclined to think it's not a big deal, but from all year long, I've been worried a little bit about how is he going to wear down, considering that he never really gets a day off, that he always DHs at this moment when he doesn't catch. And it's a grinding position. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out.
One thing about there was mentioned the Riley Greene here, and I like what folks said. His numbers, the numbers of 78 in his career second half OPS, and the number of career play appearances he had in the second half. I think he does need a rest. I think this is. I mean, he's only missed 2 games until that point. He had the injury. He only missed 2 games, and I think it's the same thing with Dingler. I mean, you're going out there. This is a dog days of summer. I mean, August sucks when it comes to the heat, the humidity, and I think that's playing a factor with that, and with both of them too. As far as Montero should get half of Framber's salary. Oh, and look, Bo Acme. Look, I will just say this: he's making me eat crow. I didn't even put him. I don't know where I put him on my list, but he's off to a really.
I didn't rank him either.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't hitting in Lakeland, and then he just so. Hey, you know what? My bad.
I mean, I'll stick by what I said before. Is that when you're a first baseman / corner outfielder, you just have to hit an absolute ton to be a prospect. Now, if he's went 4 for 5 tonight with a double and a walk-off home run. He's hitting 360 something through like 13 games. If he keeps hitting like this, then yes, he's a prospect. But he was 23 in low A. I think you want to see. We always want to look at guys at double A and above. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly putting himself on the radar.
He's got to be having some fun this summer anyway.
Yeah. No, but it's just it could be a lot of fatigue. I really think it's a lot of fatigue with those two, with Dingler and Greene. And even if you did bring back Rogers, by the way, it was fascinating to see up till 1993-94, teams used to carry 3 catchers on a regular basis. It was a regular thing because because of the fatigue, because there's such a long season to keep those guys fresh. And a third catcher never really hardly played. I mean, it was essentially your like a Joe Oliver type, it was just one of those guys that would just come up and do a thing and pinch hit or be a defensive replacement late in games.
They used to catch in the bullpen.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to earn your money. Yeah. Why don't you sit around? What are you doing? So, yeah, and look, but I don't think the Tigers, if they do decide to go with third catcher, there's one sitting Toledo, but we don't know if he's going to be a catcher for too much longer, honestly, at this point. Well, I'm talking about Jose Bersueño, who's hitting the crap out of the ball right now. But I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna be the DH first base type because they're not going to put him at catcher. They don't need him to. They really don't. I mean, you have Valencia already on the 40-man. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just echoing that. Yeah, they don't need him, and I mean, I don't dislike Torkelson. I feel like as much as the general fan base, but it's not like first base is exactly locked up, So. I mean, if that's the path for more at bats, I think that you kind of look at first base as being almost open,
Yeah, and he's right. I mean, look, and even McGonagall got a couple. But the thing about McGonagall is he'll go 0 for 8. You're like, oh no, and all of a sudden he's like, psych, 3 for 4. I'll be fine.
Literally, like it's like every 3 games he gets 2 hits, and you're like, and any time this season when it looks like his strikeouts are going to go above his walks. He has a stretch of like 5 games where he gets 6 walks, and you're like, oh, wait, no, he's never going to strike out more than he walks. I'm sorry, just it's wild.
Yeah, but he had a game the other day where he went 1 for 6, and but the one was important. And then I think yesterday he didn't get any hits, or did he have 2 hits? I don't know. It does. It feels
Yesterday
like
he had no hits. Yeah.
And then today he had 2 walks, right? And a hit
And
at the end.
Today, no, he had 1 hit. He did not have any walks today. He had
my mistake. So it was 2 walks yesterday.
Yeah.
He had 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's
Yeah.
It just does. He's a guy who's going to help even if he's not getting hits.
And that's just another one of the rookie contributions. I mean, Hao Yu Lee has cooled off just a touch. He was, his OPS was about 1,000. I think it's closer to 900 now since June 1st. I mean, I will take that. But I mean, just you're kind of expecting it, and we talk about it all the time. It's just really nice to have a jolt of youth come up, and because it just seemed like every guy the Tigers have brought up in 10 years has just been, unless it's been there's been nothing. Yeah, I mean, there's been nothing. Like Nick, I mean, who was it? Stephen Moya was the savior of all. Like there's guys like that in my memory in the last 10, 15 years where it's like, this is the savior, this is the guy. And we're getting more contributions from a guy like Eduardo Valencia, who came out of nowhere into last year, and it's just now he's contributing in a huge way. He's got a 1254 OPS in the big leagues. I don't care how many plate appearances that is, how many at-bats. Like, I love saying that. It's crazy.
There's the thing about this right now that I think that's not being said enough about this current stretch of baseball is that it's the ability of Hinch to utilize his bench as much as possible. And guys even like Malgeri. Malgeri, is he a regular, everyday regular? Probably not. But he is good defensively. He has proven his worth defensively. And it's little things like that. Like sometimes I think fans get caught up with like, well, Zach McKinstry's not hitting 370 or he's not hitting like he was last year. But he comes up with the defensive plays. I think about the gun down in San Francisco as an example. It's the little things, his ability to play multiple positions in the infield and both corner spots where if you imagine, I don't think, like if you have Kerry Carpenter, no offense to Kerry Carpenter, but he's not making the same plays McKinstry is, period.
No. Well, he doesn't make that play today that Malgeri made in the gap. I mean,
yeah, that's another one. That's a good one. Yeah.
He kept that thing to a single. That thing gets to the fence. It's for sure a double. And with that park, maybe it's a triple. I don't know. So that really changed that inning. And, I'm a big Kerry Carpenter fan, but Carpenter does not change that inning like Malgeri did.
No, and again, I love Kerry Carpenter too, but I kind of look at right field as it is another option that you can improve. Like you can get an outside guy. You can hope maybe Zaire Hope will be that right field guy maybe sometime next year if you're real lucky and everything goes perfectly, But yeah, I mean, I kind of look at right field and first base, that whole right side, just this kind of, and I mean, I do love Gleyber Torres, but I just look at the whole right side of the field as a place that they could improve. So, I mean.
So how much does Torkelson need to sustain this right through September in order to change the equation next next spring, assuming there is a spring?
I mean, if I'll start, I'll just say that I think we just are finding out exactly who Spencer Torkelson is. And I think a lot of people, I don't know if it was Chris or Roger that kind of said it, but like right when he called up, it was like he's got the potential to be like a 30 home run guy who's going to hit for low average. And I think ultimately he's going to fall short of that 30 home runs this year, but he's going to get kind of close and he's going to hit like 215, 220, right? Like, I just think ultimately this is what Torkelson is going to be. And I'm not here to have the debate if he's a bust or not, if he's worth the pick. Like, that's not really the conversation we're trying to have right now. But when you consider that that's the kind of player he's going to be, I just think that ultimately you can find an upgrade. He's a guy that you can upgrade over, is ultimately how I look at it.
I was really interested to hear how Hinch talked about the changes he's made today. I mean, he kind of expanded on the idea that, he's not selling out for power and he's hitting to other fields. And I think we can see it. I've been making the Luis Arraez jokes about him for a couple weeks now because he's hitting a lot of singles, but they've been timely singles.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. It looks like he's got 3 multi-hit games in his last 5. See, he's got a 6-game hit streak. Look at him go. He's got wow. Since July 29th, he has 6 multi-hit games. It is 11 games. He's got 6 multi-hit. That's wild. I didn't realize he was on that much of a heater. My apologies.
Well, it's interesting because we do think Briseño's coming, and as Raj was alluding to, it's probably at first base.
Right.
I don't know if they would just cut Torkelson or non-tender him in the offseason.
Right.
I don't think they would do that. I think you could pursue a trade if you wanted to. I also think, given what we've seen from this team before, and maybe this is not ideal, but I could see them running a kind of platoon with Torkelson and Briseño and Valencia at first base, because Torkelson's career WRC plus versus left-handed pitching is 122, which is about the threshold of what you need from a first baseman. It's under 100 as a right-handed hitter. So, if he becomes your kind of, your lefty basher, I think that might work. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of how many platoons do you want to keep on the roster. It feels like they're getting less of them now. Clark is going to play basically every day. McGonigal's playing every day. Green plays every day. Dingler's going to play as much as you can. So, maybe they can afford to do it there at first base.
What about you, Raj?
I mean, the Tigers have to really have some hard decisions to make in the offseason, because not only you have to add Max Anderson, you have to add Briseño. You really have to look at, and you have right now Lorenzo on the roster. So how many of these DH first baseman type can you live with? I mean, really. I mean, seriously, it's.
You're right.
The Tigers have a somewhat of a good problem, because some teams would wish they had this kind of problem. So, for once, the Tigers have kind of a depth in infield right now across the board. So it's just a matter of who's going to fit where. That's all it is.
I mean, it's a good problem to have. We were talking right before the show started about how, I mean, you have 2 of your best defensive prospects, like, in your whole organization play center field. One of them is injured, and one of them is up playing center field right now. So it's like they're going to have a decision to make. What do you do with Parker Meadows, Max Clark, when Parker Meadows comes back? I'm not saying, like, you need to cut one, like, oh, man, like, it's a good problem to have, but it's still a problem. Like, I'm not saying Parker Meadows is, like, this amazing MLB player, but you can't deny, first, how quick he is, and his defense is really good. And, it's wild that you have also their current top prospect, while he still has prospect status, Max Clark, is out there and making those defensive plays. It's just like, what do you do? I don't know. It's great, but it's almost like Parker Meadows got screwed because he collided with a teammate in the outfield,
Same thing with Winslow Perez. I mean,
yeah.
Anybody make jokes about him like that, it's just like, oh man, come on. Like, it's an unfortunate accident, but where do you put him? I mean, I know Hinch loves them too. So they have a lot of decisions to make in the next couple weeks or so as these guys get healthy.
So one thing I wonder, and I don't know the exact sort of roster shenanigans you could pull off, but we've seen the Tigers do this in the last few years, where you basically DFA a guy at the very end of the season, and then you re-sign them to a minor league contract where they're making more money than they would have before. And it clears this 40-man roster spot, and then you keep them in your organization. I'm curious if they might, like they did it with Tyler Madison, and I think with Troy Watson and Brendan Hanafy, I think they did it, and maybe even Badu or Eddie's Leonard. Like, they've done it with a bunch of those guys. I don't know if you have to be a certain age or number of years in the minors, or exactly how you do it, but they could theoretically remove Lorenzo and Jake Miller and Trey Cruz from the 40-man roster, and then have them already, re-signed to minor league deals. That way you clear some space. But again, I don't know the the roster minutia there that you could pull off. But there are players. I mean, Outman is basically serving the Parker Meadows role right now. I mean, you could say Meadows might serve the Outman role at some point, although that was on concussion protocol. That's a real bummer. But they've got some other guys they can get rid of to make room for Max Anderson and John Peck and Brett Callahan and Andrew Sears and Jose Briseño.
Wow. Keep that list going.
Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. How about Parker or Peyton Graham and Marco Jimenez and Moises Rodriguez? They're not going to add those guys, I don't think. But they got some decisions to make for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand that he's hurt all the time, but I mean, this injury was a little bit different. Like, it is kind of a freak injury, just like Seal. Like, this is not like a sports injury. I mean, I guess it is. He collided. He collided with a teammate, but it's just like it's something that doesn't really happen too often. So it's a bummer. And the Dead the Ninja Breeze is bringing that up. Maybe I did not realize that Foley was with San Francisco. I got to be real with you guys. When they trotted him out there, I was like, "Holy crap!" I was shocked. Like I knew the Dylan Smith thing. That's like been kind of well known, but I mean, Jason Foley, that was his seventh inning, I think, with the Giants. That was wild.
It's like the Undertaker rising from the dead.
Yeah. There was, I mean, I knew that he had. It was weird. The Giants had grabbed several former Tigers recently, but the Dylan Smith stuff was kind of funny because it's a classic. Like, Tigers had Trace Thompson and got rid of him. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
like sometimes, and Dylan Smith always had talent. He was in our roster, our top prospects list multiple times, but he was always hurt, and he just looked kind of like a middle reliever. And now he's closing games for San Francisco because San Francisco is terrible. They traded away their good relievers,
Right?
And good for him. Hopefully he succeeds and stuff. But I don't think this is some spectacular loss for the Tigers. They I think Wagsback has been just as good as Dylan Smith, and they got him from nowhere. And relievers are just so volatile. You can't predict that any of them are going to be good.
I mean, speaking of the first baseman DH type, I mean, was it Liam Hicks? Nobody really saw him turning into anything, and look what he's been doing. He's traded. He was like not like a huge deal at the deadline, but it was a deal of note.
That to me is the ultimate. Like when fans were like, "Well, we let him go," I was like, "Stop!" No one knew that Hicks was going to be what he was. Okay, nobody. Don't. He took over in the playoffs because he was a good defensive catcher. That was it.
Yeah. You could look at it as a. I mean, it's funny because he's not really playing catcher. He's a first baseman now. But yeah, he was a huge part of that Erie championship that year. But I think the Tigers protected, was it Madison, Tyler Owens, and Chase Lee that year on the 40-man and not Hicks, and he was taken, and so was Workman. Workman came back, and sometimes you just pick the right guy.
Yeah, since he got traded, it's only been 8 games. Liam Hicks has got a 1091 OPS, 2 home runs.
No, he's turned into a really quality big league hitter. But like I think as Brandon says on our other show sometimes, it's like you want to get to the point where you've got too much MLB talent and you got to make tough decisions, and that's how you end up trading Jim Jarvis, your 11th round pick for was it Rafael Montero? Is that who it was?
Yep.
And now Jarvis has been. I think he's basically the Braves starting shortstop now, right?
Yeah, they had to release. They released that. I forgot the guy's name. That they DFA'd somebody just recently.
Nacho?
Is it Nacho or
Alvarez?
Jorge Mateo?
Yeah, Mateo. Yeah, Mateo.
When they had they who was the kid who was on, not the kid, he was on the Padres for a while.
Kim? Kim?
He was terrible. And it's not like I was just looking. Jarvis has got a 597 OPS. He's hitting 222, but he's playing strong shortstop for him, and I don't know. It's a good 11th round pick, I think. If he gets to the big leagues at all, good job.
I mean, you look at another former Tiger too, prospect Mikael Ashman. We talked about this on Monday. So the Tigers are not just so the one thing about the Tigers is a completely different set of standards now versus any other time now is that their prospects are actually doing something elsewhere for once. It's not just so it's not like it's if Dowell Lugo, we're not going to scare if Dowell Lugo's going to come back and haunt us. No, it's so it's a good problem to have. And again, Jarvis was a very good defensive shortstop in Erie. Hit the ball hard a lot, but just wasn't dropping. So it's good for him though. Honestly, that's a really good story.
But also, he's a kind of a redundant guy for the Tigers, right? I mean, they got Peck and a bunch of other infielders. What do you do? That's fine.
This is not quite like losing Suarez. for
49
a
home
assignment,
runs, yeah.
or trading away Jair Jurgens and then having your entire pitching staff suck in 2008. That was a bummer. But no, it's the Tigers. The Tigers are overflowing with young, talented players to choose from, and so the Jim Jarvis trade does not hurt them. And honestly, neither does the Liam Hicks, non-protect. Maybe they would rather have him at first base than Torkelson, but I don't think they would have ever made that move. So,
right. All right. So not to change topics, but I'm going to change topics. This
get
weekend,
to the White Sox.
White Sox, exactly where I was going. The Tigers went into Chicago, got belted around, brought them back to Detroit. The Tigers won that series. White Sox had 3 guys, I believe, with 25 or more home runs. So they're going to bring their power. What's the key this weekend? What do you guys see?
Well,
go ahead.
No, you got it, Rush.
The one thing that the White Sox pitching staff has been terrible, so they had to get to the starters early often. They did get some bullpen reinforcements, but they have. I think the first thing. The second thing is to stop guys like Colton Montgomery and Miguel Virus. Those guys, Vargas has been a force to be reckoned with. Their bats are what keeps them in games. That's what they almost came back and won the game against the Reds. But they've been getting chippy. They also threw a couple heads, so they have to be careful. Tigers have to be careful this weekend. Yeah, 3 times. So, that play good defensive baseball, and don't get hit for Christ's sake. Like the Cleveland series got out of hand with that stuff. So
I think they got to keep the ball in the park, and they're going to be in good shape.
I think a lot of it is going to end up So you can't really expect. So you got Jackson Jobe against Sean Newcomb in game 1. Anthony, I think Newcomb is an opener. I don't know. He's got low innings.
He's a reliever. He had 1 start earlier this year, and it was against the Tigers. And
right.
He threw 3 perfect innings.
I remember. Yeah, we talked about that. We didn't know if he was going to be the starter or just an opener at that time either. But we have Anthony Kay versus Troy Mountain, and then Sean Burke versus Drew Anderson. So I think you can't ask Jackson Jobe to give you a bunch of extra innings, but I think ultimately what could win the series is if Troy Mountain goes 6-7 strong innings. I'm pretty much looking for every guy not named Jackson Jobe coming off of Tommy John surgery to just give them as many innings as they possibly can. Until Kiner Montero imploded earlier today, like literally I felt like the jinx. I mean, imploded, and what I mean by Yoop is until he gave up those walks, it looked like he was unstoppable, and I literally texted my friend, holy crap, let him pitch all 8 innings. Like, I was literally like, yes, don't ever pull him out of the game. He gives up the walks. He gets out of the jam. It looks like he literally, I think, threw 10 straight balls at one point as when he gave up those walks. I think he gave up 2 4-pitch walks, and then the first 2 pitches to Nathaniel Lowe were balls. So, like, at that point, yes, I understood. You're not going to leave him in there the whole game. But I just mean, if you can get those Kiter and Troy Mountain to give you a ton of innings, we really just that's what they need. With Drew Anderson, you expect 4 innings. If he gives you anything more than 4 innings, that's a bonus, right? So you really just need everybody to be as strong as possible. You need Jobe to maybe we don't expect him to replicate what he did in San Francisco, but you want him to keep bringing the heat, touch 100 again, and just we need the starters to continue to play like the starters have been playing. Really is I think the big key.
I think that they really need. I think the starters need to limit walks and get strikeouts. Right, like that's what you need to do all the time. But as you've mentioned it, there's 3 big power bats here in the middle of this lineup: and Murakami, Montgomery, and Vargas. So what you got to do is try not to walk the pesky Mydroths and Antonaccis of the world, so they're not on base for these big boppers. And if you give up home runs, it's only a solo shot. Yeah. And try to strike out those big boppers. I don't think it's terribly crazy. I think Raj is right that these starting pitchers, the Tigers can get to them. I think part of the calculus of bringing up Corey Julks was like, hey, we're facing a whole lot of lefties in the next 4 or 5 games, so maybe some more righty bats. Now, Julks hasn't done anything, and he may not do anything, but
he's there.
Yeah, and so we're going to see those righty lineups. It's a good chance for Hao Lee and for Malgeri and for Valencia to go out there and get some knocks and stay hot on the bench there, Colt Keith.
And also, I think going on ex-Tigers, which we talked about earlier, I thought I heard Benetti say that tomorrow is Jose Urquidy is going to go after Newcomb. They're bringing up that game.
Another, now he's a soft toss and righty, I believe. But, I watched him pitch against the Mud Hens earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
So, these games are winnable. And, you want to get greedy, right, and sweep the series, but just, win the series, and you're in great shape. And you need Job and Anderson to step up and not. Anderson has those stretches where he stops throwing strikes, and even Melton does every now and then. So just throw strikes, get your swings and misses, and keep the ball in the ballpark. Speaking
of no strikes, though, I do think we need to bring up what happened today. Just at least mention it, and that's why Deadly Ninja Bees has been referring to him as Eider Montero. I love it. Yeah. Went over my head the first time, but I appreciate that. Yes. Yeah, not a single strikeout. Eider Montero had one of the goofiest lines that you'll see, and I was like giggling about it the whole game, like a little idiot while I'm at my day job. But Eider Montero, 6 1/3, 3 hits, 1 walk, 0 Ks, 0 runs. That is and he was cruising. I think he got 10 outs in a row, the complete second time through the order, 1 through 9, and then he got Stephen Kwan out like a little dribbler that almost ended poorly. But that's incredible that it happened. It's the first time. Now, I also read something else. It's the first time since 2014 that it happened. But wasn't that also the Tigers that did it the last time it happened? Or it happened against the Tigers? Or it was Rick Porcello.
So, yeah, I was one of, I think, 300 people who went out and dug up the stat about the last time there was a 9-inning shutout with no strikeouts. And it was 2014, and it was Rick Porcello with a complete game shutout of the A's. And I looked at this is the 7th time it's been done total in baseball since 2000, and the Tigers had another one in 2006. Verlander pitched 8 innings, and Todd Jones pitched the 9th, no strikeouts against the Twins.
Amazing. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, early on in Verlander's career, his strikeouts per 9 was kind of around 6.5. It was nothing special. So it's not too shocking that happened really early in his career.
Yeah, no, I'm looking. I'm going to check to see how often we've seen this particular line from Montero. So don't mind me. I'm going to go.
Right. I mean, it's just a fun stat. I mean, I had a friend watching who was at the game, and I'm like, dude, I think this game might be under 2 hours. Like after a little while, it just
kind of shot at it.
Another
thing with Montero too is he wasn't exactly giving up rockets either for outs. They had a lot of soft contact. I mean, he really he didn't dominate him with strikeouts, but they weren't able to put barrels on anything.
Outside of like Brian Rocchio, I really dislike Brian Rocchio. He's like that pesky, like just
classic Cleveland player. That's all it is.
100%. He's batting 9th. You're like, how the hell is this guy on base 2 times every game? Like, it's like your friend's dog when you go to his house and he just keeps getting on your leg and you're like, dude, stop. That's what Rocchio feels like to me. I want to kick him off my leg.
The Guardians have to be a week to bring it up. They got to be bringing up Ralphie Velasquez soon, right? They need power. They need something.
So it's interesting. I saw some. We have some buddies who are like the Cleveland equivalent of what we do. It's basically the Guardians minor league report, and one of them was pointing out that Velasquez has been going off. He's got like 7 home runs in his last 12 games, but apparently he cannot hit changeups like at all. So he was like, he's not going to get called up until he figures that out. So I don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough.
I thought Gannau not have any power. I guess I can't say I know the Guardians system too well, but
he's got some pop.
So I thought that was why they might have brought him up.
But he's just a good all around player. I think he was mostly a shortstop in the minors. They've been using him at third. That's the thing. Like Cleveland, on top of being super annoying all the time and developing guys like Parker Messick, who, by the way, I think I pointed out in the Discord earlier today, was taking 3 picks after Peyton Graham, but also like 60 picks before Troy Melton. So, it all works out. But Gavin Williams, they kind of lucked out not facing Gavin Williams, but you take your wins where you can get them. Cleveland didn't see Troy Melton.
Or even that matter, the reliever, the Cuban reliever,
Alamon,
yeah, that guy was a giant pain in the ass a little bit. I mean, not today, obviously, but
yeah, and I, everybody was talking about it last night, and it ended up not necessarily mattering, but Max Clark's epic at bat against Kate Smith, and then basically them working him to the point where he wasn't usable at all today. That was pretty sweet. That's one of those things that you make a note of in series. And Clark is not getting a ton of hits right now, but he's still affecting the game in a lot of ways.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, has Max Clark not done exactly that literally every stop of his career? He's kind of struggled, and then all of a sudden he has 3 weeks where he hits 10 home runs, and you're like, oh, shit, he figured it out.
Yeah, pretty much. It usually takes him till July.
Right.
So, and, it took a little, I don't know, it was about on track this year. So, come back to us in June of 2027, and we'll see the Max Clark take off.
Right. Now, actually, I am curious. I know you guys had a live show for the Fluky debut and everything. You don't have to go super in depth like you're breaking down the whole game again, but you guys want to break it down a little bit and how it looked?
I personally, there's a lot of people that were talking about his, he looked a little out of it. He was opening up too much. And I'm like, I didn't realize we had so many pitching experts out there. So I thought it was just a little bit of nerves. I mean, the fastball is 94, 95 consistently. Did break out a lot of breaking balls from my recollection. And so I think he was trying to figure things out as he was going along. But I think it was just a lot of nerves. I don't know. Personally, I think it's just he'll be fine. But overall, the fact that he started pounding the strike zone a little bit. First strikeout was pretty good on the slider, I believe it was. So, good. Despite the numbers, I thought it was a good first impression.
What were the numbers, Roger?
No balls and strikes, right?
He was it was 1 1/3, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, I believe, on 35 pitches. I was underwhelmed. I'll say I was. Like Roger's saying, a lot of people were talking about his mechanics, and it's like, well, did you not? And I guess maybe not. Nobody looked to watch what he looked like before. He's pitching exactly the way he's always pitched when he was a dominant, projected top 10 pick. But yeah, I was kind of expecting a little more velocity because he was 96 to 98 2 years ago when he was a sophomore, and it dropped a little bit this year because I just kind of attributed it to his injury. And yeah, none of the breaking balls looked particularly great. He's got a slider. He's got a curveball. He broke out a changeup that was kind of flat. But, it's a first impression. It is a first start for a guy who, as Rod said, probably had some nerves. He wasn't really locating his pitches until the second inning. So I'm going to give him a pass on this, but we'll see what happens. And he's so skinny and tall that if you can get some weight on him, particularly in his lower half, it wouldn't shock me at all if he's sitting 98 next year.
Well, it had to be almost 2 months since he pitched, right? With their live batter.
Yeah, I mean, I think there were bridge league games going on, but first time anybody could actually watch him was this time. So, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, I thought it was interesting. Like, obviously, they're pitching because he didn't pitch too many innings in college this year. He had the injury, but I just was happy to see him pitching at all this year because it just seems like that's not something that the Tigers ever do with their draft picks like this, right?
Yeah, not since the draft has been moved to July. And I saw Baseball America said he was the first pitcher drafted in the first 4 rounds this year to make a pro debut. So you just don't see it a lot from anybody because usually they have a bunch of innings. So yeah, Fluky did not. So it kind of gave him a cool chance. And he's I think we're gonna see 3 more outings from him, maybe at least 2. So I expect one of these outings we're gonna be like, oh, there it is. There's the first rounder.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, even if not, like, he's getting kind of a head start, and he had some injuries this year. So it's like, really, almost anything that he does, I mean, from my opinion, it's almost like a bonus. They're kind of seeing what they have to work with, and most other teams, they don't get to do that with live batting with live prospect, so.
Yeah, and I we keep, at least in my head, I keep the general rule that if somebody comes out and does awesome after they're drafted, it means they're going to be great. And if they don't, it just means they're tired. They're going to be fine next year.
There you go.
Any non-top 100 you looking forward to seeing our Tigers? Pacheco says Love Gun.
I like, Love Gun. I'm looking at Pacheco. I was there live on Saturday when he hit the 3 home runs, and I like his third base potential as well. I'm a big fan of. I know it sounds like I'm not sure if he's going to be anything, but I do like Bennett Lee a lot as a catcher, just because he's just a solid receiver and does a really good job of doing little things. And then as far as not top 100 that I'm really high on, I mean, Andrew Sears would count as that, right, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are a handful of guys that are not in the top 100 that are knocking on the door. I mean, Max Anderson's not a top 100 prospect. We have some issues with him, but not issues with him, but like we just don't know how it's going to work. Brett Callahan's a guy that we've talked about a lot as a left-handed hitting outfielder, kind of do a little bit of everything. Lucas Elithalt is a name I think people should really start getting to know more of. He's got promoted to Double-A, so could be a year away. And he's a very interesting right-handed pitcher. And there's a Jordan Yost is coming along fine. There's been some debate about him because he doesn't hit the ball very hard at all, and therefore is not hitting for particularly high average. But I don't know. He's been average to above average overall as an offensive player, as a 19-year-old in full season ball in his first pro year, while playing above average defense at shortstop and showing plus speed. So I'm pretty happy with it.
I mean, he has the build to put some weight on, right?
Absolutely. He's got they call them like coat hanger shoulders, right? Like he's got a very broad shoulders and very skinny, and it seems like he's a dude who's gonna add 20-25 pounds by the time he's in his physical prime.
Yeah.
It's got him listed at 6 foot 170 right in front of me right now. Yeah,
I could see him getting up to like 205 pretty easily.
It could be a different ballgame then.
Yeah.
Definitely got some good loft in the swing. I got to take off, gentlemen, because I got some stuff I got to finish up before I go to bed. But I wanted to say, for people that are right now, we're experiencing some issues. We're on Spotify, but Apple Podcasts right now. I just talked to Just Baseball today. We have to get some clear. We're still getting that cleared up. So for those who have been listening to us on iTunes for years, it will be fixed relatively soon. So I apologize about that, but you can find us on YouTube and Spotify, and hopefully the iTunes. That's the reason why I posted the show, and then I went on there and the feed got changed and it's not working properly. So I apologize for that. And then second item of note I wanted to mention too. We also have merch, the Tiger Minor League Report, and we also have Motor City Metrics merch too as well. I'm to answer your question about Peyton Graham. I like Peyton Graham a lot. Excuse me, but he's got to hit for more power. That's what I think.
How can a guy it seems like his biggest strength is stealing bases go up to a major league club that refuses to use people that steal bases? How you used to steal bases? What happened? He doesn't matter. You can steal 200 bases in the minors, and they're not going to send him, man. Like, I'm sorry.
Mike, you know why they're doing that, right? Because they don't have any power. Erie's offense was very limited until Brasinho came back, and they were taking advantage of that one throw over the first quite a bit.
Look, I'm just saying, anybody who steals any bases at all should get chances when they're in the major leagues, and yet I haven't seen Max Clark. I mean, McGonigal got one today, and I lost my shit because I was like, man, when's the last time that happened? I feel like he's been stuck on 10 forever.
So, what's interesting is I don't think that there's – I don't think they put up the stoplight per se.
Yeah.
Hinch does. But so I think if Peyton Graham or Seth Stevenson were to come up to the Tigers, they would absolutely just be running wild if they got on base.
Right.
With Clark has always been kind of tentative to steal bases despite being a very fast guy. And I don't know what it is. He just doesn't do it a lot. Like, I don't know if he's ever topped 30 in any one season. So, you almost have to force him to go, I think. But yeah, it's they don't seem to like to, which is odd because they're, once again, elite at going first to third and first to home and second to home and stuff like that. They just, don't want to take the risk of getting thrown out at second base.
Right.
Or for that matter, I was joking around with Chris. I'm like, yeah, they don't want to have another Cole Keith or, for that matter, Bryce Rayner, where they dive back. Where they dive back and hurt their shoulder, because it happened twice with it.
I think it happened to Carson Rucker too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about Carson Rucker. So 3 times they had players have season-ending injuries because of going back and forth for the base. So
that's why I think they need to just need to put the base level with the ground and make it out of some sort of foam and whatever.
Yeah. Michael's good point there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course that happens. It's just like remarkable how they're always just 30th in steals. Like it's just an organizational culture thing. I've always looked at it like that. Like
ethos.
We don't do it. We don't.
Ethos is a good way to put it. Absolutely, that's a good way. They don't want to waste outs.
I
mean, you're right. I understand the logic.
Just Chris?
No, I said once Briseño comes up, they'll start stealing.
Oh.
It's joking. He's like a 20 runner.
Yeah. Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just making other jokes. Like it's wild. But you're right. Maybe that we would see that happen. Maybe he'd turn into the next Josh Naylor, right? Terrible run tool, just knows when to go,
Not impossible.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing they can't change, but it's the canary in the coal mine here. Kenley Jansen, Kyle Finnegan. What can they do other than just keep throwing them out there in their role and hoping for the best? Or are they going to bring up a kid from somewhere in the organization to take some innings in the bullpen?
So we can end it on this because we're kind of up against it, but I don't see a scenario where either of those guys aren't on the team going forward. I just want to state that right now.
I agree.
Actually, AJ had a radio interview this morning that I was listening to, and he brought up a good point. So I wanted to bring it up because it's relevant to this. So he said, because the question was something like, Tyler Holton seems like the guy from 24. Like, what happened? And he's like, yeah, this is something that, media isn't going to hear and fans aren't going to hear. But you know why Tyler Holton got back to his old self? Because I kept putting him out there and I kept pissing the fans off doing it. You know what I mean? The only way, and this is unfortunately part of the reason why the Tigers bullpen has been so shaky, is unfortunately the only way to get a bullpen guy to work through those kinds of things is to push them to just do it. It's like, hey, yeah, you gave up 3 runs in your last outing. It was the 8th inning. We lost because of you. Guess what? Same exact situation 2 days later. You got to do it again, And Tyler Holton has obviously responded to that. I mentioned this earlier today. I do think Kenley Jansen is just the new Jose Valverde. It's just kind of where he's at in his career. He's 37? Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's 38.
Oh, there you go. The point being, yeah, he's an older dude. He's near the end of his career. It's not going to be clean like it once was with him. I mean, and just like what your message says, peaceful, easy feeling every time he goes for a save. I feel the exact same way as I felt with Jose Valverde. And the numbers are saying that even though he's letting guys on base, he's kind of getting the job done lately. The last 3 weeks, I think he's looked pretty okay. Kyle Finnegan, 3-run leader more is when I want to see him, to be honest. But with Kenley, I'm okay with where things are at right now.
Yeah, with Kenley Jansen, it almost seems to come down to his release point, right? Like in any given outing, if he's got it, he's locating the fastball and the cutter up in the zone and getting outs and strikeouts. And if he doesn't, he's throwing the ball everywhere, including 2 feet above the zone, and it's a nightmare. With Finnegan, I don't really know what to do, man, because he's not missing bats. He was walking a ton of guys earlier in the season. Now he's giving up a home run, it seems like a game. Just a fastball up in the zone, 96 and 400-foot home run. I don't know what you do other than maybe have him start throwing 20% sliders just to confuse guys for a couple games. But I don't know. They're, like you said, they're going to keep using him in kind of that 7th, 8th inning role. So Herder will be coming back soon. Andrew Sears looked great in his AAA debut. I don't know if they would call him up for another lefty reliever. But, Drew Summers has times when he looks absolutely dominant, but if he's not throwing strikes, it's a real disaster. And so, I don't know. I think the bullpen is going to remain a weakness for the most part. They just need to keep scoring 6 to 8 runs a game.
Can they get
That's
River
all?
Ryan healthy?
Yeah, that's true. River Ryan could come up and maybe work in the bullpen, and then once you get to the postseason, then you can throw Job and Ryan in the bullpen, and suddenly you've got two guys throwing 102 with 5 secondary pitches, and good luck.
What do you got, Roger, on the bullpen here? Kyle Finnegan and Kenley Jansen.
I think Finnegan cooked. I mean, really, he seems cooked. A lot of he got if it wasn't for some of the defense he had behind him, it's just that he's always going to allow he's going to allow a home run. It's just it seems like it's almost every other outing he allows a home run without having exact numbers. And look, they try to put Ty Madden in a situation for high leverage. He allowed that double to Martinez.
They tried Waguespack a week ago, and he gave up a run in the 10th inning in that extra inning game. Yeah.
But there's Alan brings up a good question. Is there any Tigers reliever with a dominant pitch? And the answer is not really. No, I haven't seen anything that some white when Jansen's cutter is good, it's not as good as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a pitch that can be hittable if it's not located correctly. I would say Drew Summers. You know what? I take that back. I like Drew Summers' slider. His slider is really good. I like his slider.
Yeah, you see, there's a stuff plus ranking on Twitter that I see, and every time Drew Summers pitches, he's at the tippy top of that chart every single time. So the metrics really like Drew Summers. They like the movement and everything.
What I think of Tyler Riley's debut, I thought it was fine. So I thought that was solid.
Looking real quick to look at the best run values for pitchers, particular pitches on the Tigers. Hey, four-seam fastball by Montero and Drew Anderson are both +9. And Montero's slider is 6. Jansen's cutter is 7. So
So even if it used to be higher, it's still a good pitch when it's on.
The worst pitch is Finnegan's four-seamer. -6.
All right.
And it says hit me.
Yeah.
Well, look. Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry. I lowered the threshold for pitches, and Troy Melton's cutter is number 1 at +11. Let's see. And Montero's curve is -6. Interesting.
Was that cutter not like the pitch that destroyed Troy Melton last year? And is the pitch that
was.
Everybody I think we talked about this about a month ago, where I think last year he had like a 1,300 OPS on that cutter, and then at the same amount of innings this year it was 300 OPS or something, like nuts.
Yeah, I think I last year I begged him to just stop throwing it, and his answer was to what if I just make it good? I'm like, all right, that's fine. That'll work too.
Ready to go. I'm not calling anybody out. I love Bless You Boys, the publication. They wrote an entire article saying the only way Troy Melton will be successful as a major league pitcher is if he stops throwing the cutter. I read it in research for this.
It's been remarkable. So I mean, another point for the Tigers pitching development at the highest level. I think we're back in that era where it's Fetter made and magic from London and Nieves. So nice to see.
Well, even with Melton, I mean, he's got the 1.46 ERA, but you even look at stuff like FIP, right? He's at, I think, like 3.05 or something. That's still great. I mean, if he had a 3.05 ERA now, we'd all be pretty darn happy.
Right.
He's dominating at 1.46.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is just like his first 4 starts or whatever. He didn't strike out anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of had some tendencies last year. Yeah. So hopefully now we're looking again. We're kind of out of time here for tonight. Really hoping, and I said this last week, we are not going to ever assume a sweep in any way, because the Tigers, I feel like it's so hard for them to put together 3 games against the same team like that. But they win the next 2 series. The next time we will have this show, they will be above 500. And the way the rest of the AL is playing, they might safely have that 3rd wild card spot by maybe a couple games. I'm not saying I'm calling it, but that's what they're playing for this week. We'll be back next Thursday. Thank you guys so much for joining us. For Chris Brown, Rogelio, and Yoop, I am Mike Papchak. Stay close here.